Okay. Okay. First of all, I'd like to say good evening to all the participants and also speakers for tonight. I'm actually a patron for this conference international workshop since 2000, I think 20 until now. I'm glad tonight given another opportunity to opening this internet 3-day international virtual workshop on thesis writing and publication. Right, so it will be start from today, 23rd until 25th March 2023. Yeah, it will start around 6 o'clock in India. It's, I think Malaysia now is 8:30. Also welcome all my students, undergraduate and also postgraduate from many places. Some of them from Sabah, University Malaysia Sabah, and some from University Malaysia Kelantan, undergraduate, and some of them from Kuala Lumpur. So I'm very glad as Mr. Gino was introduced me about myself, my background. I'm an expert professor in human resource management, industrial relation, and I think for thesis writing and publication, almost 28 years. I'm also involved in the, of course, as academic, you cannot avoid to write scholarly papers, books, and many things, and also publication. All right. And I really thanks to three NGOs, Lavender Literary Club India, and really thanks to Dr. Frank Jason, who are inviting me first time in year 2020, to Dr. Ganesan. Dr. Ganesan is a chairman for this conference. I think he's also Malaysian. He's my good friend. He's working in the teacher training college in Ipoh. And then also jointly kept Comorin Trust, Dr. Regine, the president, and of course myself, Malaysian Industrial Relation, Human Resource Association, Melha. I'm the president. So concurrently, I think we are already holding many international virtual workshop for last 3 years, and I see the participant came from different background, and namely from India, mostly from India, from many states of India, and also some from Indonesia, Malaysia, and also Africa. So we are very glad to see that the few countries work together, especially Malaysian scholars. I think here Dr. Nada also here. He's from actually Borneo Island, which is I think 3 hours from 2 hours 40 minutes from Kuala Lumpur. He's in Borneo Island, close to Philippines. I think he also a frequent senior lecturer. So I believe today's topic is actually very important to every one of us, regardless what level you are. That's the reason I call the undergraduate to come also to listen and understand about thesis writing. Thesis writing actually started even back to school. Now even the higher secondary school also, they already encouraged to write thesis and so on, and it's go on to bachelor degree and masters, and of course at the PhD, the highest level. So from my experience, I involved in all kind of degrees, from diploma, advanced diploma, and also PhD and masters. And of course, most important now, I'm currently also supervising a dozen of students, and graduating few PhD students, Doctor of Business, BBA, MBA, Masters, Bachelor degrees, and so it's a vast experience involved. But every time I come and see, it's only one common understanding. Thesis is a thesis, regardless where we are in the whole world. And of course, when you write a thesis, you must follow all the procedures. Okay, and many scholars, even the scholars, even people after PhD, still they are not able to write a good papers publication. I'm already coming to the 28 years. I'm already about to retire another 4 years. But writing become part of my life. In fact, this year I'm already worked with Dr. Frank. Actually, when I started communicate with Dr. Frank, first question I asked Dr. Frank, why we want to make network? So what reason you brought me in this international workshop, and what is my role and how your role? And we are discussed only through virtual. And I really thanks to Dr. Ganesan, okay, because he's the one introduced me, Dr. Frank. And I said, why not we start one project? Although the project is not anything grand, but it can be a publication. So we discussed for many times through phone, WhatsApp, and finally I say, why not we come up with the one book, and the book is about research method. And we are looking research method. I see many books written in the market now. Many books focus only one method. Some is a qualitative, some is a quantitative, and some maybe multi-method or maybe a few. Then I said to him, why not we come out with a book that not available on the market? Let me challenge the Western model. I'm always telling myself why we just follow America, UK, and so on. I mean, traditionally we follow like that. Why not we from Asia also come up with our new ideas, new innovation? Then I told to Dr. Frank, we start one project. And that's a project already completed, research method in multiple discipline. So I'm very thankful to all my authors submitted the chapters on time. That's very good response I received. Everybody eager to submit their papers. Some of them scholars still studying PhD. They're sharing the experience, beginning of the scholar and what the challenges they face. Some of them just finished the PhD, sharing their experience. Some of them already finished about 5-10 years, and then so it's actually a combination. And some professor, some associate professor, and some from Indonesia, some from India, some from Africa, some from Malaysia. We can see many things in that book, not only one just method. So why I say like that? Why not we bring our network internationally recognized? So finally, the book already. What I'm telling now is actually I'm discussing from wisdom, the wisdom of intellectual discourse, how intellectual discourse will drive the person's life, how it will impact the career of one person's life. So that's what I'm trying to bring here. So then I bring all young scholars. I, as a senior scholar, senior professor, now I celebrating 11th year as a full professor. I was appointed a professor at the age 45. So I'm already coming to the 11 years. But publication is only part of my life. I'm still publishing. Still, I already published year 2021. I published with one of the industry scholar one book. And last year, I also edited one book from Indonesia, in Indonesia with my friends and also my students. And this year, of course, we're working on the many grants and so on. And I really emphasize the scholars in this room, regardless you are younger or senior, whatever, doesn't matter. Writing is an art. Writing must be done. If you involve in academic world, as long as you become lecturer, as long as you become some teachers, you have no choice. You need to write. That's what I learned from my guru, my former boss, Dean. He told me that either perish or either you lie alive. So that's what is connotation to pass on to us when we was young lecturer. At that time, I think I don't have PhD. I just got a master's. And this is what he said to us, all of us young lecturer. Either perish, either publish. Two P's. One P is perish, one P publish. If you don't publish, you perish. And I will take it serious on this point. And he was a full professor. He didn't look down on us, but he encouraged us, like what I'm doing now. I encourage all of you, regardless where you are. I'm keep on telling, we are all brothers, sisters. We are all one family. So there's no difference between us. I don't put any countries different. And this morning I entered, this afternoon I entered my class after 2 years, 3 years online. First time I like dreaming today I entered my class and I see all my kids, my children. My tears come out when I see them because last 3 years I do virtually. I cannot see them. I cannot laugh. I cannot smile. When I go to them, I feel like all my children, regardless any religion they are, they all like my family members, my children. So I'm so happy today, first time meeting them. And the first thing I share with them about publication. In fact, I have few grant receiving a few grants, and the grant that we are doing and currently is funded by the government, Ministry of Human Resources, the Trade Union Affairs. Two grants we received, and the two research is come from the industry, and I as expert, I come in India team, and we are promoting the first in the world. And when I look at it, literature, that's not so. In this room, I got my RA, research assistant, Miss Nazanin. She is my super RA, and she's very good in terms writing and always support me. So this is what the professor and the student must work together. And I got a very good team, and we already completed the study. We're going to submit. Although we are different places, we are working different far away. Some my team from Sabah, because they are from practitioners' point of view, and I'm from another person from learning. The difference between practitioners and academics, they are not good in the concept. They're not good in theory. They're not good in the methodology. And that's what I came in to only helping them to how to reframe the research and how to make a good thesis. So I have done the thesis, gone through the procedure and the tough life when I was in Australia. A few points I would like to share here. When you write the thesis writing, because the team given to us actually thesis writing and publication. These two must go hand by hand, right? You cannot separate it. When you write thesis from the early stage. In fact, I got another student, Miss Nalini here. I don't know whether she already in the room now. Even she early stage, I told clearly to her, Nalini, you should have published paper in early stage. And she's working actually full-time working as a senior executive HR in one of the big company in Kuala Lumpur. Even in the busy schedule, she followed my advice. Thank God. Even she even presented a proposal defense. We able to publish 2 book chapters with one of the top publisher in Malaysia, because that university is a research university considered number 3 university in Malaysia. And the 2 chapters already accepted, one already out already printed, another one already accepted. And the more good news I received today from Brazil, from Dr. Christina. You know how I got connected until Latin America? Because the network is very important. Some of you think that conference is not important. It's actually very important. Conference is very, very important. You attend the virtual conference or physical, very important, because during the conference, someone will look at your work and someone will pick up the work and they will publish. And that's happened to me when I and Nalini presented. I brought Nalini to the International Labor Law Conference in Latin America, the whole Latin America, from the North Mexico until Brazil, Argentina, and so on. And I have good contact with them since I worked as a lecturer for 20 years ago. Those days I fly face to face and I landed there. I have a good connection. And Professor Martha was invited me. Currently, she's 80 years old. And I was young lecturer at the time. So she still communicate with me. And then she invited, during the conference, Dr. Christina is a judge, a labor judge in Brazil, Sao Paulo. And she found the paper is very interesting. And she communicated directly to me. Bala, can you send me your conference paper that we are going to publish in the journal? No, in the book chapter. And I said, okay, doctor, I don't know about her, but she already found that. And I said, okay, doctor, I will send. And we both sending the paper and accepted. And this morning I received a good news from her. After 2 years, we are working closely on this. Finally, about 352 authors around the world, 5 continents in the world, and Malaysia already in the world map. And I'm very glad to put my university, even though we are the 11th and 19th university out of the 20 public university. We are small, but I make sure through us, through the academics, we put the market, and I think 16 volume will be out today. The first volume out already. They're already launching tomorrow night. Along the way will come, and ours already published. So you can see how powerful the writing part in their life. So you need to have communication very good. How I penetrate in Latin America? Why I can go? Because that kind of the world, very seldom people go. People always go to America, UK, Australia. People seldom go to Latin America. But the moment the book published in Latin language, imagine the whole Latin world will know about your paper. So the quality of paper they will see during the conference. So in fact, next year I'm going to US, New York. We are going to gather about 1,000 IR, industrial relation, HR scholars. Every 4 years we are holding the World Congress. Last 4 years we're having in the Finland. Before that in Korea, and next will be in Cornell University in the United States of America. And I went, why I'm going there? Sometimes when you meet people, there will be a lot of people calling for book chapters and journals and so on. So when it comes to the publication, as an academic scholar, I only advise all of you, be aware, be careful. Don't just publish journal all the time, and you ignore some publication like book chapter, proceeding. Now proceeding was Scopus, ISI, and even policy paper. Last few years, I written about policy paper, about 7 or 8 policy paper, because I'm also sitting at the national level on minimum wage, okay? Council, I'm one of the technical committee. We are doing a lot of research, and the research we printed, we documented, and become policy. So one book policy in Malaysian university equivalent to 4 scopus. So don't forget. Okay. You also can have multiple in your CV. Sometimes CV, we only see many people actually take the wrong part today. I'm sorry to say that. Most of lecturers only focus ISS scopus, and sometimes they publish in the wrong journal. They are only focused on the ISS scopus. That's all. They only go for the index. But the journal not relevant to the fields. Example I give you, you are English literature, but you're going to publish in Journal of Biology or Journal of Mathematics because the journal is a scopus and maybe easily accepted the journal. Then you go publish. So this is what I call Tom and Jerry. Okay, you're not creating a professor. So this kind of professor, there's no respect in the future. So as a professor and scholar, you must go to your own field. Sometimes one journal equivalent to 10 scopus journal. That journal you must focus. I publish in my area only one paper. It is equivalent to 10, 20 scopus if you go any journal that you publish. So that journal cited worldwide. And remember, worldwide. The moment you enter the journal, the whole world will look at it, because the journal is actually Thomson, SAGE, SDA publication. So they are worldwide publisher, like Thomson. And I'm actually currently working with my group of people, few scholars. We are writing a Thomson Reuters company. It's actually a Scopus book. So now book also got Scopus. So why we need a multiple publication? That will give you are scholar or no scholar. There's a difference between scholarship, okay, of teaching. If you want to be a teacher, better go to school. With a PhD, you can disseminate your knowledge to school student. Yes, go there. But when you come to lecturer, you need to publish a scholarly work. Again, the scholarly work focus what publish. So your PhD is actually the highest achievement in your life. That is a final countdown. That's what you need to do for your future career. Many people now cannot get a job. Look at the PhD now. Many of them PhD. Those days only few come out during my time. Today, a lot of people PhD. So what? My first question, if you come for interview, so what? What are you going to do next 30, 40 years? They make young lecturer 30 years old, 35 years old. Next, you have to stay. Like me, when I joined at the age 29 as a scholar, my dean asked me, what are you going to do next 25 years? And I told my dean, very clear, sorry, prof, although now I'm not qualified, but I want to be scholar. I want to be respected. I want to be a reference in the country. And today I'm very happy. I don't boast myself. I'm sitting in a many committee at the national level. This mainly because of publication, mainly because thesis. because my thesis in Australia, immediately you publish, they will put online. Not like some country like India, Malaysia, they don't put, they just keep it in the bookshelf. But in Australia, no, they'll put the whole world will read. And I am working on that. Now today I got about 20 students working under my post PhD research, because my PhD research is only basic to look at the content, the theory, the concept, the contribution knowledge driven from the practical knowledge of this. So it was extended through my students. So I'm taking a few students working in a different topic under my major topic. And that is how the professor is supposed to do. Today, look at a lot of academic, they don't have any part. They just do what they want to do. They don't have any focus, lose focus. So sometimes what they're writing, they also don't know. Sometimes they're taking the postgrad student, they also don't know what to do. So your student must be same field. Like Ms. Nalini is actually HR practitioners. Dr. Alex, late Dr. Alex just passed away. He's doing on the safety and health. Dr. Gillian working on the safety and health in oil and gas industry. Mr. Friedhoff's working on the government public HR and so on. So I'm taking this kind of student. I'm supervising together with them. So they are like my friends. I treat them as a friend. I want them to be independent, to write and so on. So I didn't see that at the moment. The world become even more sophisticated. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure. There's a lot of chat, G-chat, what chat, I also don't know. Now artificial intelligence already come on the post. People become crazy. People become selfish. People come and attack the true knowledge. The true knowledge gained through our reading, through our understanding, through our need. That's why I told my student, undergraduate, I said, I respect you. I put my undergraduate student is more important. I don't put them, it's just like a student. I said, you are the person that need to study and understand and keep on go and do what understand, apply to the industry. So I have given 3 books of my books. I said, please read these chapters, understand, like corporate governance, good governance, ethics issue, ethical, corruption, and so on. The other part of my book talking about employee participation, involvement, engagement, rewarding, performance appraisal, and many issues. We can keep on going. So today, why I say this? Because when the artificial AI coming, it actually damaged the reputation of the academic. My worry is, ladies and gentlemen, another next 5 years, more scary things will come. Imagine, I really advise all of you, don't go for that. You must trust worthy yourself. Remember, God is judging us, God from above. If you do any hanky-panky things, example, you want to do assignment, you use that kind of system. You just send the assignment, people will know. I know that is not from you. And I can fail you immediately. When I read your sentence, I know about yourself. I will value only that you need to write. So that is a dangerous already coming now. It's already happening now. It's going to happen in the future. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I'm already predicted. Remember my word now. Maybe one day there's no university will exist. Because to run the university is a very highly cost. It's a lot of cost money. We have to build the campus. We have to build the hostel. We have to pay more money to the lecturers. We have to build the computers lab and so on. Certain costs, yes, like medical, engineering, sciences, we maybe some small campuses. Social science, business, gone. You can study anywhere in the world. That's why I keep on telling all the academic scholars, please go and specialize on your field to get as many as your specialized courses, upgrade yourself, and finally come up with a proper publication. Is very important. You have to keep on extended your CV with all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm working in Malaysia. I've already got some calling from foreign countries asking to join. Why is happened? Because even private university, some private university, top university in Kuala Lumpur, I'm actually staying in Kota Baru. Kota Baru is a small town. It's a 1-hour flight to go to Kuala Lumpur. So people look at you. People look at Google Scholar. People look at YouTube. People look at that. So they will hire. Talent will hire. They call headhunters. So today, the 8 hunters everywhere in the world, they can hire you anytime, anywhere. I'm already in that position, but I won't go. I will stay in my university until the end of my career, or I don't know. I still think that at the moment I got many things to do to solve the problem. That's why I'm here not work for the money. No, that's not my main intention. My main intention is how to bring my field of studies to pass on to next generation. Thank God. Thank God I got few young scholars already following me, and they actually start publishing in my area. I'm very, very thankful. When I left in this academic world, at least someone will follow my. So this is how you all have to do. Many of you here, academic scholars, train your young students. Teach them how to publish. Don't be selfishness. Don't be keep yourself knowledge. Share the knowledge. Teach them A to Z, like you teach your kids. Treat them like your own student. Treat them how to write a good papers, good journal, good proposal, and everything in order to fulfill the your aim of your life. So life is not just be a lecturer, but you also be a scholar. You also refer to the country, and they will use your knowledge. So on that particular point, I feel quite happy to see that many of my papers already referred in the industry court. Some journal I publish in the labor law journal in Malaysian context, although they are not ISI, but they are Malaysian side. Okay, they are referred in the industry court. The lawyer, the judge will use our writing to refer to the case. That is a really contribution. When you look at the thesis, what is the main writing thesis? The main part of thesis actually looking at what you call contribution from the theoretical, what theory you're going to see the gap, and what concept you see the gap. And that's why people in quantitative people with focusing on independent, dependent variable, they will put another variable, mediating variable, moderating variable, and that's why they're using SEM, structural modeling, to see the check the model, and then they use the system PLS rather than AMOS and SPSS. And from there, they analyze multiple and different hypotheses, and then they come out with it. On the other hand, people in qualitative just go with the research question, go to the field, understand numbers not important, but they are using the viewpoint from the key informants, and they gather data from there. So I'm the one of them. I'm the pure qualitative expert case study. But I'm also examining the thesis, major thesis actually in quantitative. Most of thesis I examining is so it doesn't mean that I don't know these two paradigm shift between positivism and non-positivism. Both I know. One is a predicting, that's a positivism. Testing. When you testing, you need to use hypothesis to test. Otherwise, the instrument cannot work. The instrument must come together with the hypothesis testing. Like you go to lab, you testing. That's why quantitative people must make sure that chapter 1 to 3 must clear with a clear theoretical framework, with clear selection of the variables, clear why you choose a moderating and mediating, and come up with a good model, and that model be tested. Whereas qualitative people know, they just have fundamental research question. The model can be tentative, it can be changed, come back and do that. Both acceptable. Both can publish in Scopus and ISI. I see many people, even mine, I also publish, but very hard, not easy. Qualitative will take some time because it related to ideologism. Okay, some Americans they're more on quantitative. Maybe the general will not accept it. European mostly in qualitative or multi-method. But today I'm using more on the multi-method rather than I'm using one method, because I found that to acquire the new knowledge, you have this both positivism and non-positivism. Combination of that, then they call multi-method. And I found that it's very interesting. I'm actually doing a lot of research on multi-method. I'm start looking at the new direction on the research in the future is a multi-method. So, but I didn't say anything about other method. It's all depending what is your research question. What is the clear you are talking about your thesis? What is the thesis about the thesis? What is a big question you raise up your thesis? What is a gap? And from there you detect. But continuously you have to do on that field in different spectrum. Don't deviate yourself. My advice to all of you, after 20 years working experience in the university, okay, whereas already teaching many universities, even in the foreign university, I was in Australia, UK, and also in Holland. I only see one thing, that professors only focus on the respective field. And as you can see in Japan, you can see in Korea, where the professors working closely with the industry and with the policemen. So my conclusion is very simple. When you want to be someone, do good research first or get a good grant. I'm actually planning to apply some grant from the European Union with my contacts in Europe. Probably we're going to compare a country like Indonesia, a got a counterpart like Dr. Frank in India, Dr. Ariana from Indonesia, myself and few of us, we are planning to apply grant from because country comparative is much better. And I also include one from Japan. So we can see whether we can work out on that or not, because our CV is very strong. And we're looking at the different, what you call it, different contexts and different countries, and maybe we can go beyond that. So with that, I officially opening our 3-day international workshop on thesis writing and also publication. I strongly believe that the scholars that follow after me, they will humbly themselves will discuss some of the issues pertaining to thesis writing and publication. And as scholar in the academic, I'm telling you from the wisdom side, the higher level intellectualism is come from the wisdom, and the wisdom layout in for layman that all of us here, and I hope I also learning from all of you. So with that, I really thanks to organizer, especially Lavender Literary Club and Cap Comarin, of course, Mirha. And I hope one day we all will meet face to face. I hope to visit India also one day. Only the time I don't know, but of course, all of you welcome to Malaysia also, and we hope to do more and more with that. So with that, thank you very much. I hand over to moderator today. Bye bye. Take care.
Sir? No. Dr. P. Hartini, English.
Yes. You want me to start? I thought it's the second session will be mine. Do you want me to start now? Hello? Am I audible?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear.
madam, you're audible.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
you
You are clearly audible.
Okay. I just want to confirm if this session is now mine, or I should wait for the other person to complete and then start my session. Okay, I'll start. Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I think there will be many known faces here. Very good evening to all of you. So just give me a second. I'm really grateful to the organizers for giving me a wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts on paraphrasing. Okay. So now give me a second to share my screen. Thank you.
Sure.
Is the screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Is the screen
Yes,
visible?
ma'am. It's visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
It's visible.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So the topic of mine is paraphrasing, its relevance in research writing. Okay. So going to the next slide. See, style. All those who have it share one thing, originality. This is a very beautiful quote. We all need to have our own style. Okay. Like how we admire actors who have their own style, like how we admire people who have their own style as researchers, we also need to have our own style. Okay, when we have our own style, definitely we will be noticed and people will start admiring us and they will take us as their inspiration. Okay, so we need to have our own style instead of imitating or copying from others. We need to have our own style. Okay, so style, all those who have it share one thing, it's originality. Okay, Okay, written by Diana Freeland. Okay. So let's understand paraphrasing. See, actually, when I term paraphrasing, many people misunderstand it as like just changing the words of somebody's work. Okay, some person would have written something and just you change the words and make it your own. That's paraphrasing. It's not like that actually. Please do understand what paraphrasing is. See, paraphrasing is an important skill in research writing. It is a cognitive skill that requires higher order thinking and high proficiency in both reading and writing. Okay, so actually, when it comes to research without paraphrasing, it is not possible at all. Because why I'm saying this, see, when you take up your research work, you need to refer a lot of books. Yes or no, you need to refer primary sources, you need to refer secondary sources, you need to go for journal articles, you need to go for newspaper articles, so much and so much and so much. Okay, you have your own idea, but without the help of other sources, you cannot do your research. Okay, so what you need to do is, see, actually, paraphrasing is considered a very important skill in research writing. It is actually a mental skill. Okay, it is not like just changing the words, changing the sentence with certain words changed to avoid plagiarism. It's not like that. You need to understand the concept and you need to write it in your own words. Whatever you have understood, that is called paraphrasing. Okay, it's a cognitive skill that requires higher order thinking and high proficiency in both reading and writing. Just because you know how to change words, synonyms, and etc., you just cannot effectively paraphrase. You need to have a good understanding of the subject and you also should know how to write well. Okay, only then paraphrasing will be effective. Otherwise, it won't. Okay, then. Actually, the some 3 slides are taken from some sources, but I found it very, very effective, and that is why I wanted to share with you all. See, firstly, paraphrasing the text actually helps you to understand the material. This is actually major reason as to why to paraphrase. Many people ask, why do we need to paraphrase? What is the reason behind paraphrasing? Okay, so firstly, paraphrasing the text actually helps you to understand the material. When you paraphrase, it means that you have understood the material very well. Okay, when you need to put the information in your own words, you really need to consider what you want to say and how different aspects of the material relate to each other. You'll have so many sources, okay, relating to the same subject. How you read all the materials, how you read all the sources, and you take up down in your mind and then you write effectively. That's where effective paraphrasing lies. Okay, and that's where effective research skill lies. Okay, so when you need to put the information in your own word, you really need to consider what you want to say and how different aspects of the material relate to each other. Okay, if you feel that paraphrasing is difficult and just takes time, it is good to consider that written examination should not merely indicate that you know something. You should actually learn from them. So why do we write examination? Actually, to know how well we have understood the subject. It is not like rote learning, you by heart it and go and write. It's not possible. Okay, it's not possible to by heart the entire book. You need to understand the concept, and whatever the questions they ask, you need to write based on your understanding of the subject. Yes or no? So this same thing relates to paraphrasing also. Okay, then secondly, a paraphrase signals to your reader that you have processed the information and understood the material. So when you effectively paraphrase, it means that you're signaling your reader that you have processed the information and you have understood the material properly. Okay, you have taken the information in your brain and you have understood the material properly, and so that you can write effectively. Okay, paraphrasing requires, as mentioned, more understanding than merely copying the text. Okay, some people know without understanding the text, without knowing what to write, they just copy the material as it is. What happens is it leads to plagiarism. Okay, when it leads to plagiarism, actually your research work will not be accepted at all by any university where you go and submit your synopsis, research paper or whatever. plagiarism is actually a very serious offense, and that is where here paraphrasing greatly helps you. You need to understand first. You need to understand what the author is trying to say through his work and how does it relate to your work, the work which you are doing. Okay, and then based on that, you need to write it in your own words. Only then you will not have the problem of plagiarism. Okay, so paraphrasing requires, as mentioned, more understanding than merely copying the text, and in that way, it helps your reader determine that you have understood the material and not just copied it. So it is a clear way of saying that you have not copied the material as it is. Instead, you have understood it properly and you have written it in your own words. See, not everything can be written in your own words. Without the help of secondary material, without the help of so many sources, you cannot do an effective research. Okay, in that case, what you need to do, you have to understand what the people are trying to say, and based on the understanding of your subject, you need to write your research work. Okay, you need to do your research work. Okay, then this is, of course, especially important when your reader is also your teacher who has to make sure that you have understood your material. See, actually, when you do your research work, you are actually benefiting somebody. Your readers are going to get benefited because of you. They should not think that you have copied from some source and just given as it is in your research. How different is your research going to be? You need to prove that to your readers. Okay, when you do a research work, actually, definitely you are allowing many people to read your work. Okay, when you allow other people to read your work, you should not merely indicate like they should not say that you have already we have already read it somewhere and this person has just taken the information as this. Okay, so you need to understand it properly, understand the information properly, use your knowledge and combine both, and then uh, do your research work. Okay, then thirdly, the processing of a text helps to ensure that your text is relevant to the task you have been assigned. So you need to ensure that your text is relevant to the task, whatever the research topic you have taken, whatever the subject you're doing, you should see that whatever you write is relevant. Okay, just because you found some good source, you just cannot copy it as it is, or you just cannot paraphrase it as it is. Okay, so you need to understand the processing of the text helps to ensure that your text is relevant to the task you have been assigned. Okay, then all texts are written for a specific purpose and in a specific context. And if you attempt to answer a question from a take-home exam by copying a passage from a book, there is risk that you do not keep the topic and thus fail to answer the question. Okay, so you need to understand this very well. Instead, you may sound as though you're trying to write everything that you know about a topic in short, as if your text was a textbook. See, actually, when you do a work, it should be fresh. Okay, it should not make the readers feel like they have read it somewhere or this is actually somebody's idea. They should not feel like that. They should feel as if they are reading a fresh and original work. That is where your skill lies. Okay, please understand. Then all texts are written for a specific purpose and in a specific context. And if you attempt to answer a question from a take-home exam by copying a passage from a book, then there is definitely a risk that you do not keep to the topic and thus fail to answer the question. Your research work is going to be entirely different from what others have done. Okay, and if you're not going to justify it properly, then it means that you are failing in your research attempt. Okay, so please understand that then. Lastly, just copying from a source is actually considered plagiarism even if you provide a citation. Okay, even if you have provided a citation, if you have copied it as it is, then definitely it is going to lead to plagiarism. Nowadays, though earlier, few years back, we didn't have this problem of plagiarism. Whatever research work we did, that is what that was considered as research. If the guide will, the supervisor will identify whether we have copied or not. Okay, and then they will say this copied material you have to change. So that was what happened previously, but now there are many softwares available where your research work will have to pass the software test. Okay, maybe there are softwares like Turnitin, but then you need to send your paper in the software, and it will tell you the percentage, how much percentage you have acquired because of this. And based on that, you need to reduce the what to say, the plagiarism percentage. Only when you have a certain percentage, your research work will be accepted in the universities or wherever you submit your paper or research work or whatever. Okay, if it is going to cross the required percentage, then definitely there are chances that it will be rejected. So what you need to do, the software will identify, the software will, sorry, 1 minute. The software will identify, okay, the software will identify where plagiarism, where the plagiarized lines are, and it will help you by stating in so many colors. Okay, from that you can easily understand that these are the words or these are the sentences you need to change. That there, if you understand that sentence properly and put it in your own words, then there are low chances of it being caught in the plagiarism web again. Okay, so this one, there is however one exception. If you quote, see for example, if you quote no, then it will not come under plagiarism. Okay, then you can use the text exactly as well. But remember, when you quote, you cannot change any word or any sentence. Okay, you need to quote it as it is, verbatim. But you need to use quotation mark to indicate that the text is copied word by word. Okay, then plus provide a citation as usual. Okay, plus you need to provide a citation as usual. You need to put a reference from where you have taken that particular quote. Okay, so quotes are mainly used when not only the information is central, but the actual phrasing too. For example, when you define something or evoke a very central statement. Okay, so actually you need to, sorry, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 second. 1 second. Quotes are mainly used when not only the information is central, but the actual phrasing too. For example, when you define something or evoke a very central statement. Okay, then within the fields of medicine and care, quotations are not very common. But if you're conducting an interview study, you can and should use quotation more frequently. Okay, so actually, when in the field of medicine and healthcare, these quotations are not very common. But if you're conducting an interview study, you can and should use quotations more frequently because the sentences and words should be as it is. You cannot change anything. Okay. So if you are going to quote it as it is and provide proper citation, then you are not going to have the problem of plagiarism. Okay. Then. So let us understand what is quoting, what is paraphrasing, and what is summarizing. There is a vast difference between these three: quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing. Okay, quotations are identical to the original and must genuinely equal the source document word by word, and the author should be given due credit. So quotation means you need to take it as it is. You cannot change anything. Okay, you have to get the source from where you have taken the quote, and the author should be given due acknowledgement, okay, due credit. Then paraphrasing is an art of wording a passage in one's own writing with also proper acknowledgement to the original source. Okay, the paraphrasing means it's an art of wording a passage. That is, you can reword in your own writing with also proper acknowledgement to the original material. Just because you have written in your own words, it doesn't mean that you should forget to give due credit to the author. You need to give, because he was the one who helped you to understand the okay. So paraphrasing is an art of wording a passage in one's own writing with also proper acknowledgement to the original source. Okay. The material that is paraphrased is generally shorter in length compared to the original, with only taking the main points and editing it to some extent. So you need to understand paraphrasing is just not, as I told earlier, it is not just changing words. Okay, you need to understand if it is a paragraph, you need to understand the paragraph well, see whether it is relevant to your work, whether you can reword it, and when you reword it, to take it in your own words and make it a little shorter. It will actually become shorter because you have considered only the main points. Okay, you're not going to reword as it is. Okay, so material that is paraphrased is generally shorter in length compared to the original, with only taking the main points and editing it to some extent. Okay, you need to take only the main point which is considered very relevant for your research, and then you need to edit it to some extent and put it in your own words. Okay, and don't remember, and please remember that you need to give due credit to the author. Okay, from where you have taken the material. Okay, whereas summarizing is such that it puts the main ideas into one's own word, including the points that are considered most essential. Okay, what is summarizing? See, quoting, I said, paraphrasing, I said. What is summarizing? Summarizing is such that it puts the main idea into one's own word, including the points that are considered most essential. You read the full text and you make it shorter. Okay, it is a thorough understanding of the original work and condensing it to give a broad overview of the said matter. So you read the entire material and you make it shorter, but all the relevant points, all the main things should be in that summary. Okay, that is what we call summarizing. Okay, then. So when to paraphrase and when to quote. Okay, there is always a confusion when to paraphrase, when to quote. The paraphrasing should be done to show the understanding of main ideas of the author. Okay, you have maybe from the main ideas of the author, you need to understand, you need to process the information, what he has said and how relevant it is to your work, and then you need to put it in your own words. Then to help explain complex terminologies or ideas. For example, that particular author would have stated in a very complex manner. What you need to do is you have to understand the complexity and then you need to put it in simple terms so that people can understand. Okay, then to highlight original ideas that are attention grabbing while the original language is not. Okay, when you paraphrase, actually, if you feel that some the author, what the author has written is very good, but it is not actually understood clearly by people who read it, then you need to understand the idea and then maybe you need to make it attention grabbing to your readers. Okay, then to change the emphasis of information to match one's own argument. Okay, then to give a clear voice in the paper that is not directly connected to other words. You need to have your own style. That is what is called clear voice. Your voice should be there in the paper. Okay, it should not feel like it is the voice of somebody's. Okay, then quoting should be done when the original wording is strong and engaging. So when something you feel like it is very strong, it's engaging, it should be given as it is in your work, then you need to quote. Okay, if the quote is well known or quite difficult to paraphrase well, if you feel that it cannot be paraphrased at all, it should be given as it is, then you need to quote. Then where the exact words of an authority would lend support to one's own ideas. When you put on your own ideas, you need to have backing from somebody, right? So when you need the backing from somebody and when you feel that that particular author has given it effectively, then you can give that as backing so that it will add more strength to your ideas. Could you understand? Then when there is a need to present the author's detailed methods of finding or exact stated position. So these are the reasons why we need to paraphrase and why we need to quote. Okay, don't confuse between the two. They are different. Then, so basic note making to effective paraphrasing. See, many people when we were studying actually in school, colleges, and even when doing research, we would have understood the importance of note taking. That is, we go to the library, we take a book, we note down the important points. Okay, we note down the important points, whatever will be relevant for our research. Then we come home, then we put on all the ideas together and then make it as our own material. Right? So basic note taking to effective paraphrasing. Effective note taking is considered by great people as one of the most resourceful methods to successfully paraphrase. Some of the note taking methods are highlighting. You need to highlight, you need to comment, you need to underline, and then writing a concise summary. You need to write a concise summary of what you have understood, taking the ideas from people, putting everything together from various sources, not just like, well, you need to take only from one source. You can collect it from various sources, what this person has said, what that person has said, what this person has said about that, and then putting all the information together and writing it in your own words to make it a fresh one. You're able to understand. So this is what, this is why people used to teach us note making, note taking and all that. We need to have that as a subject when we were studying English. So now when you paraphrase, you will understand the importance of note taking, why that was considered as an important topic during school and college days. Okay, when you are when you are very good actually in note taking, then definitely you can do effective paraphrasing too. Okay, then. So paraphrasing and its techniques. To successfully paraphrase, researchers should firstly have strong reasoning and linguistic ability. Your mental strength and your linguistic abilities, your language abilities should be strong enough. Only then you will be able to paraphrase effectively. Otherwise, you cannot do. Okay. Secondly, they need to understand the meaning of the text appropriately, which stimulate their reading ability. When you extensively read, then chances are that you can effectively write. Okay, when you are a very good reader, then automatically you will become a very good writer. See, actually, LSRW, when we say LSRW, L is listening, S is speaking, R is reading, W is writing. Why are they closely related to each other? See, listening leads to speaking. When you effectively listen, you can effectively speak. When you effectively read, you can effectively write. Okay, that is why LSRW closely relate to another. Yes, it's true. Okay, when you read extensively, chances are that you can write effectively. Otherwise, it's difficult. Okay. Thirdly, they need to choose essential points of research in order to transmute and assimilate them in their writing in a meaningful way. Okay, you need to choose good points for your research. Just like because you found the source and this is the only source you have got, you cannot just take points from that. That is actually called poor researching. Okay, you need to take effective points, essential points that are considered most valuable for your research, okay, and assimilate them in your writing in a meaningful way. This transformation can be done by using appropriate lexical items to replace those the original text. Yes. I could show somebody speaking. Anything else? Can I continue? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Yes, thank you. Okay, once we complete this presentation, I'll maybe you can ask questions. I'll definitely answer. Okay, till then, just give me some time to complete my presentation. Okay, then. Thirdly, they need to choose essential points of research in order to transmute and assimilate them in their writing in a meaningful way. This transformation can be done by using appropriate lexical items to replace those with the original text. I've given examples also. See, changing sentence structure. That is, you can change from active voice to passive voice. You can change from direct speech to indirect speech, or using other structures suitably and acceptably also forms the art of paraphrasing. Okay, when you feel that the sentence is an active voice, and if you change it to passive voice after understanding, to change to passive voice, that's effective paraphrasing. And then if it is in direct speech, you can change it to indirect speech. Okay, then also you need to understand. So these are all these changing the sentence structures also forms the art of paraphrasing. Okay, then see, how are we going to change from active to passive voice? I've given examples here. See, changing from active to passive voice or vice versa works very well when it comes to paraphrasing. In active voice, the subject performs the action of the verb. In passive voice, the subject receives the action of the verb. For example, see the original text. Technology outperforms what users, regulators, or even its creators anticipated or seem prepared to handle. So what is the paraphrase there? The expectations and the meaning is not at all changed. The meaning is not changed. You need to understand that the meaning is not at all changed. Only the voice is changed. From active, we have changed to passive. Okay, the expectation of creators, regulators, and users have been rapidly obscured by technology. See how beautifully it is paraphrased. Okay, see the original text says technology outperforms what users, regulators, or even its creators anticipated or seem prepared to handle. You have changed it right. The expectations of creators, regulators, and users have been rapidly obscured by technology. Is there any change of meaning here? Definitely not. Okay, only the voice has been changed. Okay, then changing the sentence construction. See, this is an important part. Avoid keeping the same sentence construction, as the outcome would be plagiarism even if the words are changed. Even if you change the word but keep the sentence as it is, then definitely you will be caught under plagiarism. Okay, the better idea would be starting the sentence from a different part of the content, or changing the parts of the text, or by turning clauses into phrases. Okay, so for the sentence, you need to understand and you need to change the sentence structure completely. Okay, another idea is to play with the number of sentences, like a long original text can be divided into two sections and vice versa. If you feel that the sentence is too long, you can divide the text and you can make it different without changing the meaning. Okay, but you can make it as two different sentences. Then short sentences can be put as one full sentence. You feel that there are many short sentences, you can understand, you can see how you can put it together and you can make it as one full sentence. Okay. Then it is imperative to put in personal thoughts into the original text and try to impeccably include source text into your own writing, while still citing the past being sourced in between. You have to remember, whatever you do, you need to cite the original source. Otherwise, it is wrong. Okay, even if you have effectively paraphrased, you need to cite the original text. Okay, sentence construction is very, very important. Just because you change the words alone, it doesn't mean that you have effectively paraphrased. You need to change the sentence completely. Only then it means that you have effectively paraphrased. Okay, then see this in a literature review, many people don't complain to me that literature review. What is literature review actually? Literature review is what that person has said about this particular subject. Okay, and to see that it is related to their own research material. So they actually want to say as it is, whatever the person has said, they want to say as it is. But actually nowadays, no, it is getting caught under plagiarism. The software says that it is plagiarized. So what you need to do, even if the person has said something, you need to paraphrase it. Only then you can escape from plagiarism. So how can we do that? See, this is the original text. We do not yet understand all the ways in which brain chemicals are related to emotions and thoughts, but the salient point is that our state of mind has an immediate and direct effect on our state of body. Okay, this was given by somebody, okay, like Siegel, from the book Love, Medicine and Miracles, and it is published by Harper and Row from New York. So how can we put it in paraphrase format? Siegel, 1986 year, right? See the what to say, the we can which say like we have the MLA handbook, some search methodology. Yes, methodology. The methodology differs. Okay, even when you state literature review from university to university, it changes. Okay, so according to your university rules, according to how they want, you need to put your literature review. Maybe some people will put your in brackets, or some people would just put the author and put et al, and then put page number. For English literature, it is different kind of research. For engineering, a different kind of research. And for other subjects, a different kind of research. So according to your subject rules, according to the university rules, you need to paraphrase, you need to give your reference correctly. Okay, so Siegel writes that the relationship between the chemicals in the brain and our thoughts and feelings remain only partially understood. See, this one point is divided into two. Sure. He goes on to say, however, that one thing is clear, mental state affects our bodily state. Whatever the original text is, they have just paraphrased without changing the meaning. Okay, and now it doesn't form under the plagiarism software. It will not be highlighted in plagiarism because the sentence construction is completely changed. Okay, it is quite different from the original text. The person has understood it properly and then he has written. Okay, so this is how you need to write then. Paraphrasing is a valuable skill because it is better than quoting information from a run-of-the-mill passage. Okay, if you need to just repeat the same thing again and again, people will get bored. Okay, then it evades one from the attraction of quoting too much. There also, you cannot quote too much. You need to write in your own words. That is where paraphrasing helps. Okay, you need to understand so many from so many sources, and you have to take it to your mind, and then you have to create your own idea, and you have to effectively paraphrase. Then the mental skill required for good paraphrasing is acquired, and it helps in thorough understanding of the original passage. So your mental skill is needed for good paraphrasing. You have acquired that skill, and it also helps in thorough understanding of the original passage. If you have understood the material well and if you write well, then definitely chances are that tomorrow you will never forget, and whoever asks you any questions related to your research, you can effectively answer. If you're just going to copy as it is or give it to somebody to do your work, then definitely you will be caught in vivacious examination, or if somebody wants to question you regarding the research, you will not be able to answer them properly because you have not done it properly. Okay, so you need to understand the material and then you need to paraphrase. Then see what is the strategy for paraphrasing. Read the original text, understand it as a whole, set it aside. You need to read the original text, understand it completely, and put it aside. Okay. Now, with the help of your memory, write down the main points or concepts. Whatever you have understood, we don't have the material. Which, if you have the material, then it will help you to see the. It will make you see the material again and again, and you will not be able to create your own ideas. Okay, so you need to set aside. You need to read, understand, and put it aside. Then, with the help of your memory, whatever you have understood, you have to write down the main points or concepts. Okay, and then in your own words, summarize the material that helps make your point. In your own words, you have to make it a proper sentence. Okay, if you make it a proper sentence, then you will have the satisfaction that you have understood and you have effectively done it. Okay, so this is the strategy for paraphrasing. Then see, paraphrasing more strategies. Now, this is very important for you because it will help you tomorrow. See, using synonyms for non-keywords, particularly verbs, prepositions, adverbs, and adjectives. For example, from noun to verb. See, acceptance can be given as accept. Achievement can be given as achieve. Action can be given as act. Activity can be given as act. But accordingly, you need to change your sentence. Okay, just as I told you, just changing the words alone will not help, or changing the word from noun to verb also will not help. You need to understand it, and accordingly, you need to change. The sentence construction should be free from grammatical errors, spelling errors, or punctuation errors, or whatever it is. Okay, it should be meaningful. Then, from noun to adjective, the happiness, happy, intelligence, intelligent, juice, juicy, kindness, kind. Then from noun to adverb, firmness, firmly, force, forcefully, danger, dangerously, delight, delightfully. Then from one category of noun to another category of nouns, for example, science to scientist, change of nouns and pronouns from singular to plural. Okay, accordingly, you can change it as a singular sentence. If it is in plural form, you can change it to singular form, but see that you change even the verbs and other things. Okay, so that the meaning of the sentence is clear. Then change of forms from gerund to infinitive. Example, swimming to swim. From simple to continuous, from active to passive. Change of style from personal to impersonal. So these are the strategies you need to adopt when you paraphrase. Okay, only then it will be effective. Then 6 steps on how to effectively paraphrase. See, again and again read the original passage till the full meaning is grasped. Again and again I'm telling you, you need to read the original passage. You need to take the entire meaning in your mind. Okay, then the next step is to put away the original and paraphrase the passage in a notebook or note card. Have some note card or a notebook. I always will have a notebook. Okay, see, if we have papers, no, there are chances that the papers will get missed somewhere. If it is a notebook, everything can be done in the notebook itself, and there is no fear of it being lost also. Okay, and if it is paper, you will replace the paper somewhere, or the pages will change. So many problems will be there. Okay, so it is always better to have a notebook, an intact notebook where you note down everything. Okay, and then maybe in the front you can write down the content where you have and which page. Maybe you can number them. There are many notebooks which have page numbers also. You can number them so that tomorrow when you need to refer, you can easily refer it from the notebook. You need not waste time turning pages. Okay, if the page number is there, then definitely you can turn to that particular page and you can refer and you can use it for your research. Then a few additional words can be written down below the paraphrase to help you to add it to the paraphrase for use later. Once you have paraphrased, now if you need to add something extra out of your own memory or out of your own knowledge, you can write it below. Write it below, because later on, second time when you go for writing once again, then you can include that also and make it okay in your research. Okay, see, actually research is not just one in a flow you can just write and submit. You need to edit a number of times so that it will be good. Otherwise, there are chances that you would have made many mistakes and there would not be proper editing. You would have repeated the sentence again and again. So all these problems. So once you have completed, you need to read once again, once or twice, to see whether you have done properly, and you should have the satisfaction of having done an effective research. Okay. On top of the paraphrase, a keyword or a sentence can be written to highlight the subject or area of study. Okay. So on top you can just put one keyword so that next time when you refer, you can easily understand from the keyword that this is what you are trying to say in that particular sentence. Okay. So the keyword will help you to relate to the material that you have paraphrased. Then now go back to the original to check if the new version accurately matches all the needed information in a totally fresh form. So once you have effectively paraphrased, you have to take the original text and you have to see how it matches, whether you have done it properly or whether there is any change in meaning or something like that. Okay, then you have to have the satisfaction that you have given the information accurately, but in a fresh form. Okay, then if there is any line that you have used exactly as the original, either reword it using a thesaurus or use a quotation mark and give due credit to the author. Okay, then keep a photocopy of the page from where you have paraphrased in order to credit it easily in case you require incorporating it in your research study. See, after you have paraphrased also, the original material also should be there along with the paraphrased material. Okay, when you have that also along with it, tomorrow when you need it for any giving credit to the author or for some other purpose, it will be easy for you to refer instead of wasting your time searching for that. Okay, so see, actually research is not an easy task. If you need to be a successful researcher, definitely you need to follow all these points. Okay, and if you're going to follow all these points, definitely your research will go to the next level where people will cite your research and you will have a lot of citations. So lots of things, lots of benefits you will get. Okay, then see. Quick steps to quality paraphrase. Read the original text carefully, substitute words, asking yourself questions about precise meaning, rearrange sentences, check the meaning of your paraphrase against the original, identify the source you're paraphrasing. This is just a summary. This is a quick step. Okay, quick steps to quality paraphrase. Whatever I've stated earlier, I've just given in short form. Okay, so this you need to remember. And then follow the SQ3R method. See, SQ3R is survey, question, read, recall, review. See, survey is preview, question is ask adding question, read is read for meaning, recall, test yourself, then review after you read. So this SQ3R method will definitely help you. SQ and 3 R's, that is why it is called SQ3R. Okay, survey, question, read, recall and review. Whatever I have stated earlier, that is this method. Okay, then another wonderful technique is the lotus blossom technique. See, a lotus diagram is a brainstorming and organizational tool. It helps define key concepts or parts of a broader picture. You'll be seeing the diagram in the next slide. Okay, I'm just explaining to you what actually a lotus diagram is. See, the center of the diagram represents the main idea with 8 surrounding boxes represented ancillary concepts. The lotus diagrams are similar to mind maps, but they are more structured because they are more constrained in terms of the number of factors that can be considered and the number of substantiating details that can then be added. Then the lotus blossom technique, as it is also called starts, is as it is also called starts with a central idea or theme and is subsequently expanded in an iterative manner by means of solution areas or related themes. The technique encourages the user to have a fully formed idea before it is considered complete. This creative tool for creatively solving problems was proposed by Michael Michalgo. Okay, so now I'll show you the lotus blossom technique. See, this is actually the lotus blossom technique. See, the main idea is given as main topic. You can see the white box here. Okay, the main idea is given as main topic. Whatever is the main topic, you can have to write down. Whatever are the subtopic taken out of the main topic, you need to put it as subtopic 1, subtopic 2, subtopic 3, subtopic 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then from that you have to develop. Again up, you can put subtopic 1 and from that subtopic 1, whatever the points you have got based on that, you have to put it in the nearby boxes. Okay, in the proper, so that there will not be any confusion when you refer it next time. Similarly, for subtopic 2, subtopic 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you need to do. When you consider it complete, then you can use this lotus blossom technique and you can give your full research work. You can do your research work effectively because all the points which you have considered studying from various sources, it will be here. Based on this, if you do your research work, then it will be more and more effective. Okay, so kindly follow this lotus blossom technique. It's just a simple diagram. Okay, maybe you can take a chart also and you can draw like this and you can give the main topics, subtopics and everything, and then subtopic 1, whatever is related to subtopic 1, you can give it in the nearby boxes. Then for subtopic 2, nearby boxes like that, likewise. Okay, to do this, then definitely all the points which you really wanted to take for your research will be shared, and from this you can take up your research work effectively and efficiently. Okay, then from the 4 hours of paraphrasing is rewording. See, the first one is rewording, replacing the original word with a synonym word, then rearranging, trying to reorganize the sentence order, that is structure of a sentence without changing the meaning. Then realizing that some information can never be altered. Even when you try to alter, no, it cannot be altered because its original is always original. Then rechecking whether the paraphrase structure gives the taste of original meaning. Okay, so all these you need to follow. Then rewording. See, rewording is a simple process of swapping words with synonyms. The examples of synonyms in successfully paraphrased text, original text. This is paraphrased text. Today means you can put it as recent days, nowadays. Amount, too much or lot of. Keeps them from, prevents them from. Having fun, entertain, relax. Protesting, objecting, refusing. Give up, forgot. Loaded down, tired of, tired to. Responded favorably, supported. Refused, rejected, don't accept. So these are the paraphrases. Accordingly, you can change for your research. Okay, then rearranging. See, my partners and I are currently in the middle of getting funding for a new business we are launching. So actually, I don't support subjectivity in writing, but for the sake of understanding, in simple terms, I have given this. Okay, but the best, please try to avoid subjectivity in your research work and practice only objectivity. Okay, then this just for your understanding, I have given like this. See, my partners and I are currently in the middle of getting funding for a new business we are launching. So how can it be changed? At the present time, my partners and I are seeking funds for a new business venture. Simple. At the same time, the meaning is not changed. Okay. Then uploading a video to YouTube can help exposure for your business. Your business can be seen by many people if you post a video on YouTube. So this is how it is paraphrased. Then the fall of Berlin Wall happened in his lifetime. How can it be paraphrased? During his lifetime, the Berlin Wall was taken down. Then this product causes the breakdown of excess body fat and will help people shed pounds. So using this product helps people lose weight as it eliminates extra fat in the body. So this is what we call rearranging. Okay, then the paraphrasing checklist 4 hours. Read, did you understand the passage? You have to remember, have you understood the passage? Did you restate important points in your own style? Then, did you include all the important points? Did you correct the misinformation? So, all this you need to check in paraphrasing. This is important checklist. Then, see, actually, this is a very good quote. The reading of all good books is like conversation with the finest men of past centuries. When you are going to read a lot of books, it definitely means like you are conversing with intelligent brains, intellectual people. Okay, because whatever they had in their mind, they would have written in the form of books. Okay, and that books would have been widely read. And if you are also going to read those books, then definitely it will be similar to you are conversing with the finest scientists, finest men, okay, of the centuries. Even if they are no more through their books, you can understand them, okay, and you also can write well. You will not make mistakes. See, actually, I don't support reading only grammar. Reading grammar in isolation will never help. You have to read as a running sentence. Only when you read as a running sentence, you will understand how to use preposition, how to use verb correctly, how to use has, have, had, because many people make mistakes in that. Okay, so always go for good books. When you go for good books, when you're going to be an effective reader, then definitely you are going to be an effective writer. Okay, then so now let's understand plagiarism. This is the last part of my session where I need to highlight what plagiarism is and why do we all face the problem of plagiarism. Okay. See, actually, it is an intentional replication of words and ideas of others and using it in one's own in any form of academic writing is defined as plagiarism. Okay, if due credit is not given to the original source, anything, whether it is paraphrased or copied verbatim or verbatim form, is plagiarism. If you're not going to give due credit to the author, even if you have paraphrased, then definitely you have committed plagiarism. Okay, in other words, plagiarism is word by word copying of work written by someone else. Somebody would have written, somebody would have had great difficulty. They would have created their own idea and they would have done something effectively, and you're just copying as it is. It is like robbing. Okay, then failing to give proper credit for ideas, statement of facts, or conclusions derived by another, including undocumented web source pages, even if there is no proper credit, maybe if you're taking something from the net, and if there is no proper source, definitely you need to put the link at least from where you have taken that. Okay, so that is actually a proper way. Then failing to use quotation marks when quoting directly from another, whether a paragraph, sentence, or phrase. Then close and extending paraphrasing of another work without duly acknowledging the source. We are not going to duly acknowledge, then definitely plagiarism. You will be facing this problem of plagiarism, and it is an offense. Okay, then three major reasons for committing plagiarism. What are the reasons actually for committing plagiarism? May be attributed to three major reasons. One is personal, the second one is interpersonal, and the third one is social. So now we are going to see what these three are. The actually personal reason, actually it is a reflection of low self-image or low self-confidence. You form a low image of yourself, and if you have low self-confidence and you have low self-respect, actually you feel like you are not capable of doing anything original. Okay, or you're not ready to put on effort, you're not ready to use your self-confidence. Even if you have, you feel like you are having a low self-image of yourself, and therefore what you do, you will just take somebody's work and you will pass it off as it is your own work. Okay, If you are going to write on your own, then people will make fun of you. People will not like it. Like that, you'll have a low self-image of yourself. That all should be avoided. And this personal reason, this is one important thing. Okay, then it is an indicator of low intelligence. I cannot see the relationship between not doing the work myself and not learning what I need to learn from the assignment. Okay, then it is an indicator of ignorance. I do not know what that plagiarism is destructive to me and to society. If I commit the act of plagiarism, then I am causing destruction to me as well as the society. Okay, then it is an indicator of the lack of ability to appreciate the difference between means, the assignment project, and the ends, learning, gaining self-respect. See, actually, if you don't commit plagiarism, definitely, if you put your own ideas, definitely it will have a good reach among the readers. You will also have become a very good researcher. Okay, so avoid all this. Avoid having a low self-image. Avoid having low self-confidence, and avoid having low self-respect. All these things are barriers for you to take up the next step of your life. Okay, then. So interpersonal reasons, it is an indicator of lack of appreciation of the relationship between the guide and the student. Interpersonal reasons, you are doing something and your guide passes it off as something not good. Okay, the guide is actually not there to judge you. He or she is there to be the facilitator of learning. Definitely, guys, the idea is going to be good, original, and creative. Definitely, your guide will support you. Okay, support you and act as a good facilitator for your learning. Okay, rather don't feel like your guide is going to instruct you, say maybe discourage you in your research work. Then it is a symptom of a need to gain attention and recognition, but it comes at the cost of loss of self-respect. You want to show yourself as a very good researcher, but what happens is you copy from somebody, and then what happens is you lose your self-respect at the end. So better you avoid it. You use your own ideas to give an effective research, fresh work. Then social reasons. Healthy societies are built on trust, and every act that breaks the trust is another piece of straw that broke the camel's back. See, what is actually the piece of straw that broke the camel's back? The phrase straw that broke the camel's back means a sequence of displeasure that ultimately led to one final irritation that causes the person to lose their patience. You feel that we can do that, it's not going to cause harm to anybody. You'll be doing that again and again and again, and finally it is going to become a big problem. Actually, when you put a piece of straw on the camel's back, one straw is not going to affect it. 2 straws, 3 straws, nothing. But later, when it becomes a heat, then definitely it is going to cut you. Okay, okay. Then if you don't want to live in a society where people think that it is okay to plagiarize, don't do it yourself. Otherwise, you will also become a victim of a balanced society that you have helped to create. So if you feel that plagiarism is an offense and you don't encourage plagiarism, then you don't do it yourself. Okay. If you do it yourself, then definitely it is like another piece of straw that broke the camel's back. Then the guidelines for avoiding plagiarism: take proper notes and include necessary information about that source for reference list and citations. When drafting, include citations immediately. See, when you're drafting something, immediately cite the source. Okay, if citations are used after the paper is written, it will be missed or lead to wrong citations. Okay, reference is very, very important. So immediately when you're taking something, cite it immediately. Then always use your own ideas and words. Practice is the only way to this. Or the more you practice, the more effective will be your writing. The more you practice on ordering your thoughts and conveying ideas, the better will be your writing. So practice makes a man perfect. Okay. Then give credit for copied, adapted, or paraphrased material. If you copy and use another's exact words, you must use quotation marks and cite the source. If you are going to copy or take it as it is, then definitely you need to quote it or use quotation marks, or you have to cite the source. Then avoid using others' work with minor cosmetic changes. To feel that slight changes is not going to harm so much, but definitely it's going to have a big impact. Then example, use less for fewer, reversing the order of a sentence, or changing terms in a computer code. If the work is essentially the same as your source, give due credit. Okay, so these are the ways to avoid plagiarism. Then, good understanding always helps. You are less inclined to use the ideas and words of other person when you have a strong understanding of the subject. See, when you're going to understand your subject clearly, when you have a passion for your subject, when you have a you are enthusiastic about your research, then definitely chances are that you will use the you are less likely to use the ideas and words of other person. Okay, you will always feel like you want to give your own ideas. Then dive thoroughly into your chosen subject of study before you start writing. People, everyone wants to be in a hurry. See, if there is 4 years for research, people will waste a lot of time, and in the last minute they'll sit for research. And what happens? Because of lack of time, they will do something. This is not the way, right? From the beginning, you need to have a proper planning. When you have a proper planning, definitely you will be able to complete your research on time. At the same time, your work will be highly commended, provided you follow all the rules. Okay. Then you need to gather a vast data from the textbooks, magazines, journals, and other sources. Just taking one book or two books and taking information from that is not going to help you at all for your research. Okay, you need to have vast information, read from various sources. Okay, then always refer to the different source material. Synthesize information rather than relying on a single source. It reduces the chances of plagiarism. Okay, then checking the work. See, actually, once you have done everything, you need to check your work. Okay, before submitting, check your work. Using a perfect tool to verify that you have correctly used sources in your work is always a good and intelligent idea. You can easily use potential plagiarism checker tools in order to ensure authenticity in your report. You can easily paraphrase the effective section. See, once you done your work, you can check it in the software meant for plagiarism, and then based on the highlights, you can change a reword or change, or maybe you can completely alter the meaning, change the sentence pattern or anything. Okay, for example, to internal are there to help you to see whether your work is original or you have taken from something. And with the highlighted sentences and words, you can go for paraphrasing. But at the same time, see that you properly cite the source. Okay, then use time effectively. See, planning is very, very important. As I told you earlier, plan your day according to the time you feel most productive. Create a to-do list in accordance with your plan. Once you have decided that you need to do research, plan well. If you're not going to have a proper plan, then definitely you are not going to be an effective researcher. So planning is very, very important. Okay, manage interruptions. See, assign a fixed time. So when you're doing research, definitely you'll have some WhatsApp notification or Facebook notification or Instagram notification that will be disturbing you often. But once you have decided that you need to work on your research seriously, put that aside. Maybe you can switch off the data, keep it aside, and then you can assign a fixed time. Once you need some relaxation, that time you can open it and browse through everything and again close it and come back to your work. Okay, so you need to learn how to manage interruption. Okay, assign a fixed time to deal with interruptions such as emails, phone calls, etc. because it is difficult to regain focus after getting disturbed. Once you're getting disturbed, even when you're doing your research work seriously, when there is some notification, and when you get into it, definitely it is difficult for you to come back to the work again. Please understand, okay? So because it's difficult to regain focus after getting disturbed. So you fix the time for everything. When you spare time effectively, always keep something to read with you. See, when you're traveling in a bus or when you're going, maybe when you feel that you need to travel for long hours, and if you are doing research side by side, use that time effectively also. That spare time, we call it as spare time. That also can be used effectively. A reading task can be done while waiting on a bus or in a queue. Okay, then go digital. Use any modern software to help you organize and keep control of all your tasks. Maybe you can go digital. Then avoid postponing. This is the biggest problem with researchers. Do it later. We'll do it tomorrow. We will do it day after tomorrow. Okay, unnecessarily postponing unpleasant tasks just delays completing them. If you're going to keep on postponing, then definitely you're not going to complete it at all. Okay, practice self-discipline. Lack of self-discipline is a serious problem stick to the plan. Then time buffer, spare some extra time or date as a buffer for completing a task. In that way, you can help yourself from getting drained in the last minute. Okay. See, definitely you need to complete your work well in advance. Only then you will have some time. Maybe if you complete it in the last minute and that time if your guide or anybody else asks you to change the concept, then definitely you will find yourself struggling. Okay, you will get drained in the last minute. So have some time. You maybe you can finish your work some 1 week or 2 weeks earlier, or 1 month earlier also will be much better, because definitely only when you submit to another person to read, and if he has some suggestions to make, then you can carry out that suggestion also. And when you're submitting, you'll have the complete satisfaction that you have done it extremely well. Okay, so this is what we mean by using time effectively. Then research. What is research? Research is creating new knowledge. Through your research, you are going to create new knowledge and you're helping others to gain knowledge. So definitely, please don't go for committing plagiarism. Try to understand paraphrasing, then do it effectively. Okay. I hope you all would have understood and enjoyed the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. 1 second.
May I, ma'am?
1 second, 1 second. I'll come back. Yes, please. The floor is now open for questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I have a question.
Yes, please. Tell me, ma'am.
I am Dr. Yes, ma'am. I am Dr. Nirubashne from Aligarh,
Yes, ma'am.
UP. And actually, I am very praiseworthy for you that you have presented a very good definition of paraphrasing. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
And definitely, it would be very helpful for the beginners also, who is going to do their research work, research article as well. But,
Thank you.
ma'am, my a little query about this paraphrasing is, suppose a student who is going to paraphrase some test, some other thesis or some other research articles. So, how much part of paraphrase may be in the limitation of the plagiarism? How much portion he or she can use in his work as a own work? As you have described that you can change this and that, so please point out this problem for the students as well as other learners also.
See, actually, as I told you earlier, there is no limit for paraphrasing. Okay, the thing is, you need to understand. You have to, when, so for example, a student is doing a research work. As I told you, you need to take information from many sources instead of relying on a single source. Okay, when you take information from lots of sources, then definitely you will have a lot of information to convey. You have to have all information together and read everything and put it in your own words. It doesn't mean like you need to do this much of paraphrasing or do that much of paraphrasing. So as long as your ideas are going to be original and as long as you cite the source, then definitely any amount of paraphrasing is possible. There is no limit to that. That is my.
If there is a limitation for, ma'am, if there is any limitation of citation of any test.
Yes. There's no limitation at all. Okay, you can see, as long as you're going to put your ideas effectively, as long as you're going to see that it carries some relevance to your research, there is no problem at all. Okay, but see that you don't repeat the same sentence again and again. Maybe you feel like this particular sentence is very important, and if you feel like the other sentence is good and you repeat it, maybe by changing the words, you don't know that you have repeated. But readers who read the word, well, if they have good knowledge of the subject, they will easily understand that you have repeated, but through changing of words or through another sentence. So that and all has to be carefully considered. Okay, so that is what I would like to point out.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I hope I've made made my answers clear to you. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I have one question regarding the process in which we write the thesis, because for regular research scholars, full-time research scholars, the universities nowadays they are putting lot of classwork duties on regular PhD research scholars. With that pressure, many of the research scholars are not able to complete their work and are not able to concentrate on their research. As I searched, UGC has not given any guidelines for research scholars to take the regular classes for PG students. Then how this can be handled, ma'am? Any suggestions from your side?
Yes, yes, I understand that even my research scholars are facing the same problem. They would be full-time scholars and they will be asked to take some classes also. But what I feel is you can take everything as an experience, a good experience actually. See, you learn from something. You can incorporate that in your research. Actually, when I was doing my research as a part-time research scholar, I too found great difficulty in balancing my work. I had to go for work, I had to go meet my guide in the evenings, I have to come back, then take care of my kids, prepare food for them, and then concentrate on research. It was actually very, very difficult. But one thing I understood is making use of time effectively. Once you have committed yourself to research, time is what matters. Okay, you can maybe there will be lots of things which will be disturbing you, definitely, and that too with technology so advanced
One,
nowadays. Definitely, you will have lots of disturbance. But the thing is, as I told you, you need to plan everything properly. If you decide that you have to complete your research within that 4 years, definitely you have to stick to the plan and do it properly. Okay, discipline, self-discipline is very, very important. And you need to avoid a lot of distractions. See, certain things you cannot avoid when it comes, definitely according to the rules, you need to go take it. But other things like maybe you can look at spending a lot of time on social media or spending a lot of time talking unnecessarily with people, all these things can be avoided till you complete your research. There's definitely a lot of time. But the thing is, we only feel like this work is giving a lot of pressure on us. Okay, so that's what I would like to say. If you feel that you need to complete your research work on time, you can take up this work, and the remaining time which you have, that can be used effectively for your research. In that way, you can complete it successfully.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for
Thank
very informative talk.
you.
And dear participants, we are moving to next session, and our speaker is Dr. Mageshwari, is a professional marketer with significant experience in leading corporate marketing and internal communications for multi-million dollar companies across diverse industries for several years before she chooses to enter the academia. She is experienced in academic and consulting research from the development of the new ideas to problem solving, conceptual and content development with a competitive advantage. She has a proven ability in leading record high marketing campaign response rates and has executed successful product launches. She has over a decade lecturing experience mainly in the areas of tourism, innovation, digital economy, and marketing. Dr. Mageshwari had obtained interdisciplinary degrees in communication, tourism development, and tourism planning or sustainable tourism development and conducted research for a PhD in revisit intention of European tourists to visit Malaysia, focused on the holistic image of Malaysia from psychological aspects of European tourists and environmental quality with experience in mitigating efforts. Presently, her research interest focuses on tourism marketing, holy, holistic well-being, healthy aging, and small-scale sports event tourism. She's a certified trainer for Global E-commerce Challenge from Alibaba Business School. Currently, she is pursuing her master's in postgraduate certificate in academic practice from Lancaster University. She actively participates in international academic events as workshop trainer, keynote speaker, session chair, and moderator. She is an active member of the Southeast Asia Research Academy. Besides academics, she is active in contributing to society through her participation in karate sports and secretary of Judo Karate Association WP Kuala Lumpur and University Saint Malaysian Indian graduate as secretary. We are very glad to have you, ma'am. This session is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm the last speaker, so I know it will be like little challenging for me, but like this would be a great sharing from my side. Okay, the sharing on today is about generating research idea and research problem. Am I audible? Because I only
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, good. Okay, now the three key main references that I took to share about this is first on constructing the research problem. Second, identifying the research problem. Third is way of constructing research questions using the gap spotting or problemizations. All these three articles are very, wonderfully written article with depth of knowledge regards whatever that I'm going to share. So the summary of these three articles, I put it as an research ideas and problem, sources, type of the gap spotting that we can trace, beyond gap spotting, and how to identify the problem end of the day, and last one, some assignments or some ideas how we can generate the research problem. Next, whoever who are here right now, I saw like 90 plus are here at this point of time. It's already around 10:30 p.m. in Malaysia. Very good. I'm very glad. Okay. To you all, research is something easy or not easy? Do you think research is easy? Can I get some answers? Maybe you can unmute and answer me. Easy or not easy?
Not easy, ma'am.
Not easy, right? Yeah, obviously research is not easy, but it was fun and wonderful things to do if you know how to get the problem correctly. So for that, what is the problem? Mainly research problem. So many people trying to put the puzzle to find out this could be the problem. No, that way is wrong. The correct way would be to identify that guide the need to conducting a study. Meaning, your research must clearly educate or understand people, make them understand. If you never do this, carry out this research, meaning we can't solve the problem. This is from Creswell back in 2015. Now, based on that definition by Creswell, further looking at it, when you have an opening paragraph, you're supposed to ask this question to yourself. What was the issue, problem, or controversy that researcher wanted to address? Second, what could be the controversy leads to need of the study? What is the purpose? Third, what would be the concern being addressed behind the study? We have the background of the study, right? So what could be the problems that has been identified, but there are some story for that. So we need to know that story. Last one, is there a sentence like the problem addressed in the study is? Do you have that? We must have that. So this is according to Creswell. So that is based on whatever you read from a journal article. Now, many students would take this approach. I'm not saying this is wrong, but this is something that 90% we will ended up finding the research problem is very vague. It's not strong. Why? There are other methods that we can explore, which I'd say it's much more easier to do and easier to identify the problem rather than doing a very traditional, outdated, a boring way of reading journal and find out the research problem. What could be the way? There are many sources you can do. First, existing literature review. This is something that we can't avoid. So when you open a journal, always go to this section called future direction. List down the future direction from the research area that you are interested to do research. That could give you a guide where you can focus. Next would be systematic literature review. Many research area nowadays, they have systematic literature review. These can be a very good guide for you to identify what could be the problem. Similar to that is meta-analysis and also literature metrics. We'll talk about literature metrics in detail later. Next, you can approach supervisors, your colleagues, even gurus in the particular area to find out what is the current problem in that particular area. So this is another step forward step or a way that you can engage in a very good research problem. They will tell to you what is the current research problem. So you can start from there because you can definitely code them. Next, third one would be newspaper report statistic. I always see people take granted of this. This is social concern. See, when COVID was boomed, many people started to do research on COVID based on what? Newspaper report and statistic. Am I right? So this is very important. Always look for a very recent article in newspaper, whether the issue that you are addressing, it has been mentioned in the newspaper, maybe addressed by a minister, maybe addressed in an important event attended by the stakeholders, or any recent reports, especially national plans, SDG goals, those kind of things. And you have a proper statistics on that in your country or outside your country, depends on where you are doing the research. This third one, it's much more easier for you to concentrate, to have your good motivation and backup as an evidence. Fourth, personal experience. This is something very interesting, especially when the issue is happening in your workplace, especially issues like mental health. I'm very sure 50% of the people in this room, we have gone through cases like mental health, whether it happens within our circle or within our places that we are staying, family or social network. So you can start to write based on personal experience as a problem for research. Last one, practitioners. Most of the people, especially PhD students, will always avoid that. They will make this practitioner input as the last source to be included. No. Why don't you use this as the first source? You would see a very huge impact or difference in identifying your problem statement, because the reports, working papers, comments or feedback from the manager in the field would be a very good, relevant, practical sources for you to address the problem and code it accordingly. So other than just focusing on the existing literature review, try to have more sources like academic, social concerns, personal experience, and practitioner. If there is any question while I'm sharing, please stop me and ask question. I'm all good with that. Okay. Next. This is a sample of literature metrics. I would say rather than Microsoft Word, please use Excel. In Excel, you can have plenty of column and you can follow this system. You can add, your own, column. I would normally do with author, journal, year, country, what is the type of the journal the particular article was published, objective of the study, variables. I will mention all the IV, DV, mediator, moderator, all the variables that involve in the study, what theory has been applied, what are the industry, context, and setting that has been used, method that has been used in that, population, sample size, statistical techniques, result, and the future recommendation. So all these things at one point of time, I'll be stop reading because I know I have found my research problem. Mostly when I'm doing this, within 25, 30 articles, I can start to see the problems ready. So this is one way that you can do your readings in a very systematic way, and you can always follow the articles. Okay. I'm very sure many people are doing this, but the problem is, are you doing that in depth? Okay. Next. Ways to assess whether you should you should have a research problem or not. Many people, they just stick with one research problem and carry on the study, but you can always see and compare your research problem to confirm that this research problem, it is a problem and worth of all your time and effort and all your collaborators' time and effort to do the research. How? First, fill a gap in the existing literature. Ask this question: is your current problem filling the current gap in the research? Is it giving, enhancing the literature review body? Is it giving some input for current research? Then you are right. You can go on with that. Second, replicates the past study, but examine different participant, different research site. That means you are giving an input from a different perspective for the study. This could be not only a methodology, but also different from the methodology, but also create the different perspective where we can give an enhancement for that particular research topic, where it see the point from a different view, different country, and the best is from the different continent. Third one, extend the past research on examining the topic more thoroughly. Go in depth, answer all the questions which was not answered by the previous researcher. Find the gap and get the problems. Why the problem is happening? What could be the solution? Who are the person involved in it? What could be the factors contributing to it? So go more depth on the particular research problem. Next, give voices to the people who silent, not heard, or rejected in the society. Look, who are the respondents? Who was interviewed or who was taken the information previously? Look for the people that was neglected or taken for granted, or has been not mentioned at all. Maybe the researcher missed that particular group out. So look for them. Always remember, people, stakeholder doesn't mean one people. Never ever just focus on government or private sector. There are many people, especially the people who involved in the industry. Like managers, senior persons, who can give a depth of information regarding your research. Never ever take those particular people, as someone that you don't want to take information from. So always include all stakeholders. Last one, inform the practice, meaning what is the current approach to address the problem? What is lacking in that particular approach where you need to immediately find a solution for it? So all these things will give you in a direction whether you're accessing a correct, right, and current problem which badly require attention to address it. If not, something bigger problem would happen. Okay. Next, how to do gap spotting. Yes, I agree with you. It's not easy, but we need to have a skill of three area according to Sundberg and Alverson back in 2011. Using these 3 area of neglect, confusion, and application, you need to have a combination of these 3 area. Could be all 3 or could be 2 plus 1. Then you can have a good gap spotting. Neglect. Look for the gap that has been neglected in the previous research. Look for the gap which is so confusing. Example, that particular research was doing on quantitative study. Most of the time, it's either the relationship is, positive, negative. It's like, mix of insignificant result. Look for it. What could be the reason? Why could be the reason? That creates a confusion, right? So you can take that as a gap spotting. Third one, looking at the application. What could be the best practice in certain areas, certain countries, certain states, or certain continent? How we can use that in particular other places. Applications could be from the industry, government sector, policymakers, anyone. So use all these streams three things and combine and see the combination answers. That combination answers would give you a very good gap spotting. Any question as of now? Any question for gap spotting? You can ask me. Because I'm not saying on the Google, I'm just viewing my slides. Any questions?
No, ma'am. Go on.
Okay, thank you. Next, what does it mean? Gap contribution. Every research need to contribute something. I'm quoting from Ladig et al. Back in 2008. According to this author, while a gap might exist, it does not logically follow that filling a gap important contribution. Never ever think your research is always filling about the gap. No, it's about the fact gap may exist precisely because the issue is uninteresting or obvious. Yeah, not for all people, the issue is interesting. So that gap has been not identified or not have been taken seriously by others. So, example, the marketing discipline is not very old. So more exists than published article. On this point, Barry Babin observed the fact that no researcher has tested this before does not logically justify the need for the test. Please, people, avoid this thing. Never ever say no one has tested this. My professor has taught me, before we start research, he said that, never ever use this. The world is like, full of technology, internet and all this thing. Somewhere in the world, someone have done the research. Maybe it was not yet published. So obviously don't put this. This is like a very weak contribution of your study. Never ever do that. So how we can do that? When a gap does not exist, it's not always obvious why filling the gap is important. So it is an author's responsibility to tell it. So never ever mention like that. Okay. Next, if not to say like that, how we can do that? So you can do a trace research problem by 8 various way that I'm putting it here. This is again from Ladik and et al. 2008. First, use a straight replication. As I told you earlier, you can replicate the particular study in a different setting, different respondent, different place, different destination, but focus on getting view from many people. Example, let's say the previous research has been done on sports development in particular country. So the view has been only taken from the athletes. This time, when you're replicating the study, never ever take the feedback from the athletes alone. Why don't you go further step in front, forward, and then you take from all different parties to find a proper solution for the issue that happens in sports development. Second, replicating and give an extensions. Extension can happen from the methodology perspective, from the area of the research. Maybe you can, explore more and find out could be a new reason for the contribution for the research problem. Third one, extension of a new theory method in a new area. You could, explore yourself to take the theory that has been used in other industry to implement in your current industry and see how the view could be more different. Number 4, integrative reviews. Always apply meta-analysis to see what are the other theories, what are the other methodologies, what are the findings that has been found in all the previous research before you confirm this is my research problem. Number 5, develop a new theory to explain an old phenomenon completely one way against another. Always take classic theory as a testing. What you can do, you can put the current variable, which is also a contributing factor in that particular theory, and make a good contribution. Number 6, identification of new phenomenon. What could be a new phenomenon that happening? Example, at this point of time, the weather everywhere in the world has been changed. So this is a new phenomenon which is giving a lot of problem for airline industry. So you can take some sort of new phenomenon like this. COVID is another very good example for whatever viruses that might come in future. Develop a grand synthesis integration. People, always remember this. When you're starting a research, you always have a problem. So along the way, with your methodology, contribution, connect back to your problem. You must have that one line of objective, what you want to solve. Then integrate that part with your findings. So this is what we call as a grand synthesis of the flow, where you start from the research problem, end of the day, address the research problem. Number 8, the last one, develop a new theory that predicts a new phenomenon. Example, what happened to theory of relativity. So that could be the 8 steps or 8 new different ways to address research problem. Next, beyond gap spotting. So whatever that I share with you, it's something that very theoretical. Now let's look how we can explore this beyond our research mind. Let's go to the ground as in a field work. So what we can do, first, we can critically confrontation whatever that has been published. Find out something that missing in whatever that has been published as of now. Then you will end up with the new ideas, where we call this the innovation. That could be the idea where you can see a problemization. You create the problem. Now you have a new problem to address, to solve the issue. So this is what we call beyond the gap spotting. Now, process to do this always started with your interest. This is something that my PhD supervisor taught me many years ago, almost a decade ago. He taught me that, Magis, never ever do a research which you have no interest. And I totally agree with that particular statement. Identify a problem that you're interested to find the solution. Then much more easier for you to connect yourself in the preliminary discussion. As I told you earlier, don't straight away jump into journals. Why don't you talk about that? Try to do some discussion. Nowadays, we have Zoom, Teams, many platform. You can engage with anyone from any part of the world. You can discuss with them about the particular problem. Then go and confirm in your literature review whether the problem exists, addressed it before, or still in the gap. Then revise whatever information you got from preliminary discussion with your literature to find and to see what is the concurrent problem telling to you. That would give you an idea what could be the problem statement for your study. So this is the process you need to follow. Your interest will bring you to achieve the problem statement using this process. Now, according to Corner, back in 2000, he said that a good writing of a good problem statement is far from effortless. Focus on different part of the manuscript depending on their interest and expertise, or area in which all tend to agree whether or not the author made a case of existing of the problem first. Even the most comprehensive literature review or complex, sophisticated method and data analysis do not rate it highly if reviewer certain that there was no problem established in the first place. So give your wholehearted. So rather than being too academic, find the exact problem and try to solve the problem with all the knowledge from the academia that you already obtained. That could be a very interesting way to solve the problem through academia way. Next, statement of the problem. Why we said it's a problem statement? So now we address the problem, but we must make it as a statement. So this is what we call as a research. So when you say it's a statement, it's supposed to carry a topic. When you have a topic, you need to introduce your topic. That is where introduction come into the place. Next, research problem, you must have a constant, clear, crystal clear issue. Okay, and research problem always one thing. It's not many problem come into the picture. Only one problem that you can address in one issue. Then justification for the problem is the research gap. Next, aim of the study, overall aim. What is the purpose and what you want to achieve, objective of this study. Then later on, related to the audience, you will be getting your ideas from the literatures, managers, and policies. Sorry for my wrong spelling here. It's managers. So all this would give you the statement of problem. Are you clear what is problem and statement of the problem here up to now, everyone?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, not only that, now going to the second part of it, according to Guba and Clark, even though the article was back in a very back, long time back, but this is very important where these two authors address about principle of proposition. They say that the state of what generally accepted could be a statement of the problem. Next, interacting the proportions, meaning how you communicate that you know the contradictive of the challenges, that proposition, and how to give the justification that you need to look at the problem from new direction or perspective. Why all the while the problem was not solved? Because people keep on taking the same approach that has been taken by the previous researcher, previous policy maker, previous person that involved in that problem. Could be from private or government sector or anybody. Okay, so now as an academia, you carry the weightage or the responsibility to see the problem for a new direction from different lenses. That's why you need to incorporate every people, the stakeholders that involved in the problem to see the interacting proposition. Last one, speculative proposition. You need to speculate the issue to see direction of the inquiry that coming to you. So that could be a way you can go and see what could be the resource for the problem. So as whatever that I shared from the introduction up to now, we can put it in a simple slide, this slide especially using a flow of topic statement, consequences, problem, justifying the problem, then only you go to the literature gaps, then identify the aim of the study, put a theory. Theory is always an optional, especially coming to proposal and all these things. Never ever think about theory so much. Theory is something that it come into the picture very later part. So don't worry much about that. And relating to the audience, meaning theory also have a strong relationship to the hypothesis. So don't worry so much, but focus on this topic, consequences, problem, justification, and literature of the gap. Then and aim of the problem of it. Now, let's look into this slide. It's from Deloitte. The skill gap may leave an estimated 2.4 million position unfilled between 2018 to 2020. Okay, we have a data saying 2.69 million jobs open from retirements and 1.96 million new jobs due to natural growth. Same time, 4.6 million manufacturing job to fill from 2018 to 2020. But the problem is, in the social part, we only have 2.4 million, 53 of 100 people open position to lie vacant due to the skill shortage in the US manufacturing industry. Meaning to say, only 2.2 million jobs are likely to be filled. Now, people, is this a problem to be addressed? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Now, your problem must have deep this part is the actual issue. Okay, and this is where you get your data from. So this is the example of the social problem that we need to address. If we never address with all that we need amount of people that we need to fill the position, but we only have this much of people that have in hand, obviously it will create a huge issue for the human resource later. So this is the real life problem that needs solution from now onwards, so we won't face the impact in 2018. Okay, next. There is another social issue. See, suicide among youth and young adults. What pediatricians should know. Now, suicide is the second leading cause of death among US youth and young adults aged 15 to 24. This is the data they put in a very interesting way. Now, teen suicide rates differ by gender. Among young men, it's 17.9. Among young women, it's 5.4. This data was for death per 100,000 young age between 15 to 19 in the year of 2017. And it's from the CDC National Center of Injury Prevention and Control. So you need to have this, data sources from. Now, is this an issue?
Yes.
Is this a problem? Yes, obviously a problem. What is the problem exactly? Someone? Who is in the high risk?
Male.
Male. Okay, because the data showing it's not double, it's more than 100% more for male. So what could be the reason? So understanding the reason for young man's, suicidal, hold on, intention can solve the problem in future or even reduce the numbers, because this is an alarming case. People are dying, and these are the young adults who are supposed to be the resources for the particular country. Okay, so this is a real issue which need to be addressed immediately. Okay. Next, technology industry battles highest attrition rate in the world, and it is costly. What is saying? Sectors that highest turnover rates. What are the sectors? Technology, retail, media entertainment, professional service, government, financial, telecommunication, oil and energy, aero auto transport, healthcare, and pharmaceutical. So they list down from 1 to 10, and the industry that was in top is technology and software. Is this an issue, social issue? Is this a social issue? Software? Anyone? The data is for
Definitely,
20.
madam. Definitely.
Definitely it's a social. Why are you saying that so? Why are you saying that so? See, there is so much of silent. Now, when there is a silent, there is something good, meaning you need to argue, defend why it's that an issue. Okay, what is happening? This is like, according to me, we need to find out the reason for the turnover rates. This data is from 2018, right? Now we are in 2023. What is happening in 2023 now at this point of time? For me to give you an idea, what could be the reason for the high turnover rate for both technology and retail? What is happening in 2023 now? AI could be the reason. Yes or no?
Ma'am, global recession.
Global
Yes.
recession. Yes, global recession. AI, the introduction of AI, artificial intelligence. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Might be.
Okay. Yeah. How about robotic technology?
Yes.
Okay. The
Mm,
technology accelerations of digital marketing, digital economy could be the reason for these two turnover rate. People are moving to other industries. Could be. Yes or no? Yes or no?
mm.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, right. People are buying. So, do you really need someone to purchase products nowadays in digital platform?
Yeah.
Not necessary.
Not necessary. Most of the time, people are buying online. So that is the reason it has been high turnover rate. Okay. So something has been addressed and it's something totally new. So now my question to you, is this a social problem, a real social problem that need to be addressed through a research?
Definitely, ma'am.
Definitely. So you put the point like that. So since people are moving away and all this thing, they don't have enough human power there. Okay, human power means like from the human being's power. Okay, which has been replaced so much from the digital side. So that is your issue. It's not the turnover rates. What is the issue behind it? So you need to collect the data from 2018 up to now, and what is the trend, what is the future prediction, then you can have more defense for your evidence as an evidence for your problem. Okay. Now, so this is another issue that we can see. This is the number of the engagement. Employees that engage 34, employee that not engaged 53, employees that disengaged with this one 13%, and this data is from 30,628 data. So this for tribal group. Why we have this issue of employees who do not engage more than 50%? Okay, so we can have to find out the reason for it. Okay, in large majority, they are not happy. What could be the reason for them to feel don't happy? Now, from whom you need to collect this data? My question, if you really, really want to know the answer, from the employee or from the employer? Who would be the best? Anybody? Anyone? So much of silent.
Maybe from the both.
Exactly. You want to find the balance for the answer. Thank you very much for that answer. You need to get the data from both of the party to see where they are standing, what approach has been taken, what is the real issue right now. So you cannot just take data from one side and do the research. That would be bias. That would be something that imbalance. And you even can't draw the conclusion even like prediction of the finding from all the relevant sources. Okay, yes, it will take some time, but it's worth for the research if you're really interested to find the right solution, not in a hurry-burry situation. Okay, now, this is something about me that I would like to share. Just give me another 5 more minutes. Things that I wish before I do my PhD. These are the things that I was not clear about where my interests lie. So those who are here, who are in the situation to do PhD or haven't started or in the early stage, please see this where your interest is. Do your research related to your interest. That could be a very good pathway for your career progress later. Then the purpose should come from the internal push, not someone tell to you or your supervisor push you, family members, spouse, siblings, or anyone. Should come from you. If not, drop the idea. Maybe you're not ready yet. Okay, meaning you're not ready with the problem. So the problem should come from your internal. Okay, keep the driving seat with you. Accelerate. You're waiting for what? You are the researcher. Take all the efforts to go and find the solution. And don't promise too much. As I told you, just focus on one problem, narrow down it, and then try to find the objective and clear that. Okay, don't have a bigger picture to solve. Go with one problem. That one problem can lead you to many things. Okay, then along the way you go with the skill development. Example, skill to identify the problem statement. Okay, that is what you will learn through the journey. Okay. So as concluding my sharing today, these 3 articles is fundamental for you. So please, whatever that I'm sharing to you, it's a summary of all these 3 articles together with my experience. So please take time to read this article to have a clear picture with whatever that I share with you. Now, my story starts with this person. He shared in one of the workshop. He's Mr. Venkatesh, the very well-known, academia. Venkatesh Vishwanath from US is a professor from US. Now, he shared that he come up with the idea where he come up with the research that has been quoted by a lot of people, and he become a very important person in academia based on whatever that he shared with his colleagues during lunchtime. The same thing happened to me where I shared about well-being among my colleagues, and this is the idea that we made of exploring the well-being dimension, why casino employees don't feel good about them, because what could be the reason. So this is a pure qualitative study where I have never taken a qualitative path in my life before, 100%. So this study gave me all the new exploration to find the answers. This is where I started to see the perspective from totally a different view. So that's why I am sharing with you about the problem. It's not something that always we find in a past research. Okay, so my principle is very simple. So what? Don't panic. God is always with you. So go with this. Whatever research problem that you have in mind, you will find the solution from the academia path. Okay, so those who would like to contact me, this is my details. You can WhatsApp to me or you can email to me regards your research interest or anything that you would like to collaborate with me. With that, I would like to end the session. Thank you very much.